Hi, everybody. Friday Thoughts. Welcome. I hope everybody's had a great week. So today, it's official. I'm launching 80/20 CS, and as you can see, please, maybe while you're listening to me, go and visit the site and read up as I'm giving you my introduction here. But I'm thrilled. This has been a labor of love for a number of years, as I've mentioned in some of the previous posts. So let me just jump right into it. I want to first define the name of the company because I think you're probably all wondering what that stands for. And it's really important because it is who I am. It's what this business is all about. It's meaningful. 80/20 stands for the Pareto principle, which many of you will be familiar with. Simplified, it's the 80/20 rule. And what, in simple terms, does that mean? That 80% of outcomes are a result of 20% of inputs. And that can be negative or positive, right? So if things aren't going well, you can hone into a very small number of systemic things that are causing the negative downturn. And in turn, you can hone into 20% of things, the 20% of things that you're doing that result in 80% of the positive things that are happening for you. Typical scenario, if you look at your sales team, there are top performers that are generating the majority of the revenue. And so I'd encourage you to do some math and with a spreadsheet, and the principle holds true in most cases. That's why it's a principle, not a rule. So that's 80/20. C is an acronym within an acronym. In the case of my business, C stands for core. Core stands for C being confidence. And so I'm all about successful change. My business is all about helping technology companies solve complex problems, and specifically operational. And again, operations in a tech company, just so we're all on the same page. Being a VP of operations and a COO in my past in a tech company, I sit in between every function in the business. I'm looking at, and as I simplify it, I look at a dollar and how it moves through a business, and where is there opportunity to get better, to plug holes, right? We're looking holistically at how a business is operating, where our goal is to drive top line revenue or grow net profitability. So just want to make sure, because some people in certain situations, operations is it's a very specific function and it's very limited. But in a tech company, a COO or a VP operations, their job is to look at the business holistically and try to make it better. Okay, so let's go back to C. So C stands for core. So if you have a change plan to make operations more profitable, to grow revenue, you have to have confidence in that plan. So that's the C part of core. The O is openness to change, right? And that's critical. Status quo cannot remain in all cases if you want to do something better and grow the business or turn profitability around, those types of things. R in core stands for resilience. You have to be resilient because you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit challenges. It's not going to be easy every day. What's your ability to bounce back and keep going? And then E stands for effort. Are you willing to do the work, right? Like, it's hard. Solving complex problems is hard. And the biggest part of what makes it hard is a human factor. So part of my mission here as well is that when you're solving complex problems, you have to pay equal attention to the business plan and the human plan, equal. If you don't, you're going to fail. The S in the company name stands for strength. And so strength is a measure of core, right? So how strong is your confidence? How strong is your ability to be open to change? How strong is your resiliency to bounce back? How strong is your commitment to the effort that needs to be put in to succeed? So 80/20 CS, core strength. Pareto principle, core strength. That is what we're all about, and that's my mission. Okay, I want to make sure I don't forget anything here. So I think I've covered a lot in that little bit as well, because where does this apply? Am I focused on startups? Am I focused on scale ups? Am I focused on enterprise accounts? It applies to all three, but differently. Startups have obviously not the same problems that scale ups have, or enterprise accounts. They get more complex and they get bigger as you go up the market, for sure. But the value in what I'm doing for startups is mitigating the risk of falling into systemic problems that are going to fester and prevent an ROI down the road. For startups and scale-ups, it's typically the opposite. You've had problems that have become systemic for years as you've moved from seed to startup into scale up and into enterprise, and you need to turn those problems around. You need to solve them and get them out of the organization so that you have a sustainable, positive environment moving forward. So it's applicable to all, but certainly, and I've worked at every level, so that's important. And visit the website and you can see the narrative. But I think that the democratization of access to people like me has to fall in those areas of startup and scale up and enterprise. And so I'm allocating my time proportionately so that I do have capacity to help startups and scale ups and enterprise organizations solve complex problems. My model is not consulting. I want to make that clear at all. And the reason it's not is I believe fundamentally that my clients need to own the problem. Somebody on the leadership team needs to own the problem that we're trying to solve. My job is to come in as a mentor and work collaboratively. So in a very hands-on fashion, get into the problem and into the weeds, but I don't own it. My job is to partner with my sponsor to move through the problem to success and transfer skills as a result of that. Transfer skills to my clients so that they have the longevity to retain that and apply it to other problems as they move forward. That's my mission. And so I talked last week about the fact that historically I've been a one-to-one professional. So I've had boards and C-suites, pull me in to solve problems, and I'll spend 2 to 3 years solving the problem. Now we're in a good shape. We move into operational maintenance mode. Well, my value gets diminished, and that's fine because I'm a fixer and I'm proud of it. I want to do that one-to-many. And so what I'm doing is making myself available. Like, so on the website, you can actually book me for an hour if you want. But you might be a leader that has a really specific problem that you're struggling with, and you need an experienced ear to help talk through it and maybe give some ideas of where you can go. You might want to include me in a QBR or in a planning session. So this sort of idea of having like a minimum, I need to be there 2 days a week for 3 months, or I'm not interested, I'm breaking that. I think it's important to help leaders, and let's get to the human side of this. The reason I'm so passionate about this, like, I love solving complex problems, like that gets my brain working. So, the geek in me, and I love being a nerd, I am, wants to get into the most challenging problems and help teams solve them. But the human side of me, my heart, wants to help leaders succeed, because that helps companies stay stable, which helps retain jobs, which helps individuals and helps their families, right? That's the one-to-many that I'm talking about, that I'm very passionate about. So what I do helps shareholders 100%, right? And if you look at my bio, either on LinkedIn here or on the website, I have a track record in success when it comes to shareholder returns. But I am passionate about the people as well. And I truly know through experience that you can have both. You can have shareholder returns and you can look after people. Not in every single case. Sometimes things are out of your control and layoffs do need to happen. That's just a fact of life. But I believe in many cases you can mitigate it if you're proactive and you get in front of these problems as soon as you can. So what else can I say? This is not just about me and my brain as an individual. It's also about some assets that I've developed. So there's an 80/20 CS blueprint, which is a 5-gate methodology for successful change. I have written a book that is going to be published by September, maybe a little bit earlier, and you'll be able to pre-order that on the website as well. But it's a guide. It's a practical, pragmatic guide to move from chaos and problems through to successful change. And it balances, as I mentioned before, the business requirements and needs and the human factor equally, and takes you through a process to say, okay, at the highest level, gate 1 is leadership aligned. I might give you the example of 5 executives and 2 of them don't believe in something. you got to get those two to the point where they have bought into it at a certain level before you move on. Maybe what they have to say is completely legitimate and you need to work through and resolve those things. Maybe it isn't and they're just being difficult. You still need to resolve that. Or by the time you get to gate 3, which is strategy, and you get to gate 4, which is objectives, you've got dissent that's already trickled down, right? So you've got to get through that. So 80/20 CS is all about working with leadership, understanding the problem that needs to be solved, and helping collaborate and facilitate alignment at the leadership table, alignment at the middle management table, and to join the 30% club, right? 70% of changes fail. It's a statistical fact. And it's because people they run headlong into change. They don't understand the implications of change and the trickle down effect. And they don't have buy-in, right? But they just push and push and push. Those are the 70% that fail. The 30% Success Club is what I'm all about, and it's about being pragmatic. It's about leveraging data. The amount of organizations that ignore the data that they have at their disposal to inform their decisions, to inform their plan, like it's sad, right? Leverage data to inform and validate what you're going to do. So you can tell I'm very passionate about this. I'm extremely happy to be out on my own doing this. There's lots to come. Not only is it about business, it's about, I mentioned last week, the combination of everything in my life coming together. There's a weekly podcast, and we recorded the first one this week. My personal trainer, Rennie Stopford, and it's on the website. And so he'll be joining once a week to talk about health and wellness and how important that is to successful change. By the way, that's the name of the book that's going to be coming out in September. And so the podcast is all about successful change in health and wellness, successful change in business, successful change in the creative arts, and successful change in mental health. So Rennie will be joining once a month to talk about health and holistic wellness. Stephanie Vatry, who is a psychologist and runs a Center for Resiliency out of Toronto, will be joining me once a month to talk about resiliency for executives and leadership, and how to really strengthen resiliency, because it's a very stressful job when you're a leader. And then I'll be having one unique business person come and join me once a month to talk about successful change in business. And then I'm going to have a guest once a month come from the creative arts, which is a huge part of my life. As you know, I'm a musician myself, and I'm president and sit on the board of the Ottawa Music Industry Coalition. And so I think it's important for everybody to hear multiple voices. If all you ever hear is tech people talk about tech business, I think we're missing some color. So I want to bring that to you. When you go to the website, there is a big fat button on the top right that says join community. I would encourage you to join. That turns on some features on the website that you won't see until you join the community, but it's also how you book time with me. So yeah, please visit the website, check it out. If you have any questions, I'm available as always, and here's to the future. So I haven't actually picked a song for today yet. I just wanted to get this video blog done, and really excited. And yeah, have a great weekend. I will figure out a song celebrating. It's not going to be celebration because I think I did that already. Some other pump up song about the future and just being positive. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye.